Hey there, this is Clay with RelationshipInnerGame.com, and in this video we are going to be answering the question, what is it that men find attractive in a woman, okay? And first of all, I want to just get it out of the way that yes, men do find a woman's physical appearance attractive, okay? That is absolutely important, but it is only one factor in our list, okay? Oftentimes women will focus too much on their physical appearance. You know, women, I think, understand that men like women that look good and everything like that, and they'll focus on that at the exclusion of some of these other things on this list, and that can actually lead to, some trouble down the road because they've only focused on one of these things and completely ignored these other parts. And so, they might meet a guy and he's like, yeah, she's hot, but, we have no connection. There's like nothing in common, blah, 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 all these other things. And so they may just kind of like fizzle out. So if you find yourself in a place where, you don't have a hard time attracting guys, but they just seem to kind of like vanish on you, like ghosts or something, this could potentially be a game changer. So you might want to take some notes here. Okay, so first of the 6 things, I can't remember if I told you, but we're going to be talking about 6 things here. But the first thing is, yes, your physical appearance. Yes, men, for better or worse, do find a woman's physical appearance attractive, right? And, there's a lot of reasons for this. We don't need to get into all of them, but, the main thing here is you don't need to be a supermodel. You don't need to be like a size 0 or whatever. You don't have to be dressed like a fashionista or anything like that. Basically you just have to do the best with what you've got, okay? Some people are meant to be supermodels, some people are not meant to be supermodels, and that's totally okay. The point here isn't to try and force yourself into some unrealistic mold. The point here is to just do the best with what you've got. So, take care of your body, feed it well, get some exercise once in a while. Don't strive for unrealistic goals, but, treat your body well and do the best with what you've got. If you don't treat your body well, if you don't get regular exercise, if you don't feed yourself healthy foods and stuff like that, that can kind of be a reflection that maybe you don't value yourself. But just, do the best with what you've got. Nobody's asking for perfection here. Most guys are much more forgiving than you think they are. At least the cool guys who aren't jerks and a-holes. So that is the first thing that men find attractive. Now, the second thing that men find attractive is women who have a high value life, right? Like, men don't want to just get into a relationship with a woman and it's like, well, what's your life like? Oh, I just kind of sit around and watch TV all day, and maybe I go to work sometimes, but it's really just mostly about like TV and checking Facebook and all that kind of, like, no guy wants that. A guy wants to be with a woman who's going to enrich his life in some way, a woman who's living a high value life, a life that she loves, a life that she really genuinely enjoys, a life where she surrounds herself with friends that she loves and activities that she loves and is actually, doing something meaningful with her life. That is a high value life. So you want to be able to, number 1, know what your values are, but number 2, set your life up so that you are in alignment with those values. That is something that a lot of men will find very attractive because, you're not just like the average woman out there who's just trying to get by, make it from Monday to Friday and just kind of, sleep in on the weekends. There's nothing wrong with sleeping in on the weekends. I do that too. But, you want to be able to be in love with your life, not just kind of suffering through work just so you can kind of get to like 2 days when you can just veg out and chillax, right? But you want to actually love your life. Sure, there's nothing wrong with taking a day off, relaxing from time to time and stuff, as long as you actually love your life, okay? So that is thing number 2, have a high value life. Thing number 3 is to have an appropriate level of investment with a guy, right? So with any given social interaction, any given dating interaction, there's going to be, his level of interest and your level of interest, right? So ideally, these things will be kind of about the same. Now, obviously it's not good when your interest is like down here and his interest is like way up here. That's, like weird, needy guy stuff there where you're just kind of hanging out and he's like, calling you, texting you like 10 times a day and doing like weird stalker things and, giving you gifts that out of nowhere when you have like no connection with him and stuff like that. That's kind of like weird stuff. You know that's not attractive, right? So don't do the opposite where you are way over invested in him. You're texting him like 100 times a day. You're like over analyzing everything that he says on his Facebook page or anything like that, right? You don't want to be over invested either. Ideally, the two of you will be invested approximately the same amount, okay? And again, slowly you'll both start to eventually creep that investment up as you like move towards commitment and stuff like that. But it should be, you know, kind of slow and gradual, not like these huge jumps where somebody's way over invested and it just kind of like kills the attraction, right? So make sure that you all have an appropriate level of investment. And if it's hard for you to have an appropriate level of investment with a guy, kind of peel back the layer a little bit. Don't just like fake it, but kind of peel back the layer a bit and see like, okay, why is it I have this higher than normal level of investment? Is it because I'm expecting to get something out of a boyfriend or relationship, a commitment or something like that? Do I have any sort of like unrealistic expectations? And kind of look at some of your beliefs and maybe examine those a little bit, okay? But that is the third factor in determining male attraction, is appropriate levels of investment. Now, the fourth thing, this is obviously your connection. Now, you know, sure, guys, they can be attracted to a woman without any real connection, right? But they're not going to really commit to a woman if there's no connection, if there's not really lots of things to talk about and stuff like that, unless they're, you know, desperate and love-starved and everything like that. But, you know, you probably don't want to be with a guy like that. You probably want to be with a guy who intentionally chooses to be with you out of, like, you know, the possibility of being with other women, right? So the connection that you have with the guy is very important. Whether or not you can connect with him on an emotional level, bond with him, get to those points where you're laughing, sharing inside jokes, coming up with little, you know, goofy names for each other and all of that stuff, where you're talking and hours just seem to slip by in what feels like minutes. That's the kind of connection that I'm talking about, and there's a whole lot we could talk about in terms of connection, but that's probably a topic for probably several other videos. That's an entirely enormous can of worms to unpack right there. But that is thing number 4. You have to have that connection to really spark lasting, sustainable attraction with a guy. Now, thing number 5, this one is going to be physical desire for him. You know, yeah, like this is something that people don't really talk about very often when it comes to, you know, women desiring a guy, but guys do actually find women attractive who desire them. You know, there's like lots of scientific studies and stuff that say, like, you know, when you hear that somebody finds you attractive, you suddenly think that they're a little bit more attractive too, right? And of course, you know, you don't want to just like throw yourself at the guy, being desperate and needy and all of that stuff. Like, obviously that's a turnoff, because that goes back to that whole level of investment thing that we talked about a few moments ago. But you want to, you know, have it at an appropriate level for where you're at. Desire him, that's great. Just, you know, don't over-invest, if you know what I mean. Oftentimes guys can take it as a pretty big compliment if a woman thinks that they're attractive, thinks that they are desirable. And, you know, if you just like tell a guy, hey, you know, you look really hot in that sweater or something like that, you can expect to see that sweater a whole lot more, let me tell you. Guys really do enjoy and appreciate female attraction. So don't think that you have to, you know, play hard to get or anything like that. That's a whole topic for another video as well too, but that's definitely not a component in attraction, okay? And the final component in attraction, the 6th component in attraction, is femininity. Now, I'm going to take it as a given that you are attracted to masculine men. Now, of course, just because a guy is a guy doesn't mean he's necessarily going to be masculine. Each one of us has their own kind of balance of both masculine and feminine energy. But, you know, just to kind of keep things simple, we're just going to assume that you are interested in a guy who is higher on the masculine spectrum than he is on the feminine spectrum. And for this to work out, for that attraction to build there, for that romantic tension to build there, you're going to have to really nurture that feminine side of you, okay? And this can be really kind of tricky. because there are a lot of societal forces that are encouraging women to, you know, be more masculine. You know, I'm woman, hear me roar. And there's nothing wrong with feminism and having your goals and stuff like that too. I think that's great. I think that's absolutely part of having a high value life. But you know, you don't want to go after all that stuff and lose your femininity, lose the thing that makes masculine men stop and like fantasize and daydream about you, okay? And that feminine aspect is the part of you that is warm, that's loving, that's expressive, that's bubbly, that's almost like intoxicating to be around, that's supportive, that's there to fill up his life with love, okay? That is the feminine energy that is going to create that tension, that romantic pull towards the masculine side, okay? And that's going to be the final ingredient that really makes attraction for women, okay? Or attraction for women in men, rather, okay? So this has been Clay. You know, what do you think? What do you think men find attractive in women? Please leave a comment below and let us know if you think I'm right, if you have any other different opinions, or if anything that might be on your mind. And of course, you know, please check out our website, relationshipinnergame.com. You can sign up for our newsletter to get information, strategies, tactics, and all of that stuff to help you meet, date, attract, and get commitment from the kind of man that you want to be in a relationship with. Please go ahead and check us out over at relationshipinnergame.com. This has been Clay, and I will see you in the next video.